Robert talks a lot in the intro.
Yeah. But that's the only time I get to talk. That's why.
Exactly. This is my podcast, apparently. Sketchbook Heroes and Robert. Like a little like...
I'd be okay with
an
that.
asterisk. Look real small.
Welcome back to the 16th episode of the Sketchbook Heroes.
Sketchbook Heroes.
Today we have a special guest.
Is he that special? Really?
No, I mean retarded special. And, all the way from the U.S. Josh Bodwell.
Hey, I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired. You can't not.
No.
Did you write that before you came here?
I did. I only brought original material. Only original material.
No, super happy to have you here, dude. And thank you so much for doing this, because I know you just flew in, really.
Yeah, literally hours ago.
And he's been sweating his nuts off in the shop all day, sitting there listening to all the
I was like,
crazy
what did he do
people
with his balls in the shop? Like, why would he?
talking political stuff, racism, and I don't know what. And
Oh shit, you came into some really deep.
Yeah, it was deep today. I just got right into it.
Isn't that every time though?
Yeah,
like,
that is every time.
Like when we were sitting in the back last time as well. Like it just started with like I think it was racism that started it all off.
Yeah,
like the Swedish.
I mean, you are
party.
Greek, so obvious.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I was stealing shit, and they were like, "Oh, these foreigners coming here stealing."
He just sat there, started tattooing people.
Exactly. I work here now.
Yeah, I made myself at home. I came in, dropped my shit. I was like, yeah, this is kind of my spot now, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. No, it's a pleasure to be at the shop at Huckleberry with everybody. It's even the deep conversation was actually welcoming, and actually I think it kind of kept me awake after having about 2-3 hours of sleep. So,
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
How long was the flight actually?
like 7.5 hours from New York. So
fucking crazy. I don't even work that much.
What was it?
in a month.
In a month. God damn it.
Yeah.
Getting that money.
But yeah, for everybody who has no idea who Josh Bodwell is, he is
You're
one
stupid.
of the most epic tattoo artists I know and follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
And also a major geek, which makes him even better.
Major nerd alert.
Yes.
Exactly. He actually ignored his burger to talk about Star Wars.
Yes.
That's how much of a nerd.
Exactly. Even his beer.
Even beer. That's a big deal. That like you guys got me on like a tangent of Star Warsium lore, and I didn't even attack the beer that was in front of me. So
I don't even think he took a breath like during.
No, at the end of it, I was
like Ace Ventura, the thing, like just like the long breath and then talk.
Yeah.
But sometimes I get as a Star Wars fan, as a pop culture fan, I mean that's the kind of thing that not only do I love talking about, but it's awesome that I can pick up a conversation in New York City, come over to Sweden and be on the same topic, and we can be on the same wavelength. So I mean it brings us all together.
It does that. I think that's why I love actually, like, because this podcast we were going to try to aim big, but it sort of just goes into like pop culture, the things that we actually love, and it's hard to get away from.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you guys are talking about, once you guys get into things about inspiration, or if you guys are getting into the things that you're just drawing on the day-to-day basis, you're going to go to what you love.
Of course.
And but I'm sure that the listeners can also appreciate some of the creative tips and stuff that you guys have, whether or not they're pop culture fans. It's all relative, but we are a bunch of nerds.
Yes, we are. Like, we actually had someone go back and watch Big Trouble in Little China. That is pretty cool.
See, yeah, we made something happen.
Yeah, because that's stuff that I personally love, that people are actually like, oh, what the fuck is that? And then you go back and you watch Kurt Russell at his worst, but sort of his best.
It's an equal parts.
Yeah. It is exactly that.
It is. But yeah. So.
But sometimes you guys get, we probably get a little hung up on the, nerding out a little bit, especially when you start getting excited like I do. And that happens a lot.
Yeah. That never happens. We're very professional.
Deceptions!
And with that said...
And with that,
exactly.
Rogue One reference.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say. Like, and then we're back at Star Wars.
Yeah.
Full circle. Introductions are done.
Yeah. So...
thank you, good night. I'll be back in New York in the morning. See you.
Intro song, go!
retarded, motherfucker! This is gonna be very good.
Did it end? Did the song end?
No.
We usually do that, and then the actual song comes.
Artists of the world unite. Step out of your comfort zone into the danger zone.
But I love that bass line. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. Like it was chugging along,
Yeah.
just to lay it down.
Like a fucking train.
And you don't have a mouthpiece, so you just
Yeah. Growling.
monster vibe.
But that's good, because normally I sound like a woman.
Oh yeah. This is how we we just take away the mouth guard, and then you just.
Hi, my name is Robert. I'm a real boy.
That's a lie.
I love that you deny it yourself.
He's got a thong.
I just saw
I
it.
think from all podcasts forward, you should just put a filter on his mic.
Yeah, he thinks it's the.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But I can do that because we're separate tracks. Not right now.
No.
Now we'd both be like.
We're sharing this
Hey,
one.
what's going on?
But next time.
All that while behind you, I can see a cartoon corn on the cob with a cowboy hat. So it's kind of.
Yeah, but we have tons of offices and they're all themed like that. We have like Penis Mountain downstairs that I told you about. We have like all these super strange characters that I don't even know the games to. Like they're super old. Like we have a big catalog of
They're in the
games.
pipeline.
They're in the pipeline.
Yeah.
I've only worked on
Penis
Candy
face.
Crush. Yeah.
Penis face crush game. Yeah.
So today's topic is Josh Bodwell.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night.
So dude, take it away. No, just kidding.
No, but I mean, me and Josh met last year.
And with me,
no, not
it's
last.
Robert.
Was it last year? Last February.
It was about over a year ago. Yeah,
Or no, that was
last February.
1.5 years ago.
Yes, something like that.
Damn, man,
It's been a while. Time flies.
But it was right when I started out getting into the tattoo business, and I mean, I'd been following Josh, so I don't know. I was checking Instagram one day, and this is weird because I want to talk to you, but as soon as I turn my head, I disappear.
Yeah, you disappear.
So I'm gonna talk to
out the
Ilias.
side of your eye.
Yeah, but anyway, so I was checking Instagram, and I saw a post from Josh.
I think it was a post of like maybe
I think you were in Slussen, or you were
it's sort of a major hub.
picture of Stockholm.
Yes.
Anyways, and in Stockholm.
Nice.
And I was like, holy shit, he's in Stockholm? That's awesome. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll just try it. I'll write him because we were going to this. My friend was opening a new tattoo shop, and I just went out on a limb and like, hey, dude, if you want to hang out, like my friend's opening a tattoo shop, you could come join us at Huckleberry and trying to just get to know you.
And I heard there's a party and at a shop, and I was like, tattoo shop party? Of course I'm there.
Free alcohol.
It doesn't really take a lot to get me to show up to things. That was perfect. And you're right. You just mentioned before that was right when you were starting to get into tattooing. Obviously, you've been drawing, and your page was full of your sketches and your art. But it was really cool for me to see, over this, time does fly, but this year and a half, and seeing your artwork progress from paper to skin, and it was kind of like a meeting of the minds at the right time. So it was cool to see your journey as well, over the course of this. And now I hear you're full-time tattooing. You gave that last job the finger.
Yeah, I did. Hell yeah.
Came in like a boss, like knocked papers out of people's hands.
I'm out, bitches.
Peace. He dropped mics.
Yeah, exactly. They really have to pay for those. That's $4.99.
I'm taking this washing machine. This is mine. I'll just leave it
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I'm taking a stapler out. Just like,
But yeah, no, that was really cool. And I mean, you're an amazing person, and your wifey's really amazing. We miss you, Jackie. You should be here.
She's home with the dogs right now, taking care of the pups. Oh,
Pups.
ripping through Star Wars.
yeah. As my dogs are mad at me at home, ripping through everything in my Star Wars room. So I'll see what survives when I get back.
You need to bring them toys.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, so that was really cool. And then we just kept in touch. And now you're coming out to the UK.
Yeah, I'm doing the Liverpool Tattoo Convention. This will probably be this might be my 5th or 6th, not year in a row, but year that I've been there. I skipped a year because I just wasn't able to make it. But it's one of my favorite UK-based tattoo conventions. I don't know if you guys have covered on this at all, trade shows, conventions, things like that.
Not at all, no.
But, just to touch on a little of that, it can change from one to the other. Even Comic-Cons, you can have some that are very relatable to the artist side of things and some that are just there to sell toys. Yeah. You've got tattoo conventions that are there to enrich and encourage the industry, and then you have conventions that are just there to sell booths as much as possible and make money and leave.
Commercialize.
Yeah, so Liverpool is one of the good guys. It's one of my favorite shows. The environment that they create, the artists that they pick and choose, it's a very international group. And it's just a solid group of people, and you can walk the floor and not only be amazed by the quality of work, but also I was amazed the first time I went there with the just kind of, I don't know, willingness to bring me into their circle and to just talk to some random dude from America that came to their show for the first time. Like when I first went there, I knew maybe 3 people, and I left there the first year with a whole new group of friends that I've stayed in touch with. So
that's awesome.
So for me, it's one of the better tattoo conventions that I'll do. Because otherwise in the States, I do mostly pop culture conventions, which is huge in America. Yeah. It's huge everywhere, but we have them like every weekend there. So like literally every weekend in some city. And so I've kind of shifted to do more of those. So, but I'm over that. And I know you just got back from a convention here in Sweden as well.
Yeah. So I'm still hungover almost. Fucking crazy. But yeah, that was my first working convention. I mentioned it last episode. Just got back. I made it. I'm alive. It was amazing. No, it went crazy well, and I'm so extremely grateful for everybody who actually sat down and got penetrated by me.
Yeah. And then there was the convention.
Totally different topic. We'll get into that.
Yeah, no, this is me. So always, I can't get too emotional. I have to joke everything away. But seriously, it was great. A lot of good friends, met a lot of new fun people, and made a whole new group of customers, and yeah, fucking awesome. I worked nonstop.
If you don't mind me keeping on the topic for a minute, I was just curious, because I feel like I'm not an old head when it comes to conventions. I mean, I've been tattooing for a long time, about 15, 16 years, but I've been doing conventions for about 6 of those. For you getting into conventions, how do you feel the trade show convention element of presenting your art to an audience in that kind of way, as opposed to, it's different, I think, when you're in a shop or if you're online and you're putting your artwork out, people are coming to you to get your work or see your work, whether it be, art on Instagram or come to the shop, look at your portfolios. But how did you feel, the attitude was when you're there laying it all on a line on a table there,
it was crazy, because what I did, and that's why I couldn't do the I was going to say competition again, the challenge or whatever, the character thing that we sort of mentioned last time, because I didn't have time. I was drawing Flash all week.
So you didn't do your homework, is what you're saying.
I didn't.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. No, I'm really busy, and it was just it was so much Flash to draw, but it was so worth it. Like, because I had a little book with maybe 20 plus Flash in it, and it just got so much attention. Like, it was crazy. It was fucking insane. All these people just coming there and wanting the Flash, and like, because I'm working with a lot of talented people, like Johan, who is doing the mandala thing with all these ornamental, like, beautiful things. And he had a lot of stuff out, but my little square thing was like pulling more attention. And it was such a confirmation I guess, or like.
Oh yeah, I think it's a great. I felt the same way. I feel like getting into that's a great way to put it, and I hadn't even thought about it. It's been a little while, but that first initial when you're going out to a trade show, whether you're a up and coming comic book artist and you're at a Comic-Con, or if you're a tattoo artist, to be there to get that confirmation that people actually enjoy what you're doing. There is that sort of like. Again, because you're laying yourself out in the line, you're surrounded by peers and, and people in your industry, that when people come up, and whether you're a sketchbook artist and they're buying something that you have on your table, or they're sitting down for a tattoo, it's such a good confirmation to be like, I'm actually doing this, and I'm actually doing this right. I think I've got this, because nothing's worse than just sitting, twiddling your thumbs, while
and
people
that was
just
the
walk
thing,
by.
like, because when we drove there and we came to the place, I was like, okay, yeah, if I get to do one, I'm going to be so fucking happy.
Yeah.
And then they opened the doors, and within 20 minutes, I was fully booked the full day.
Really?
And then the next day, the same thing again. Boom. And then the third day, I was crazy hungover. Like, I'd slept less than Josh had today. And I was just sitting there, and I had nothing booked. I came in, and I'm like, I'm not going to get anything today. I'm just going to chill out. And within the fucking first half hour again, boom, and fully booked the whole day. Like, all 3 days, fully booked. It was insane.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, okay, so maybe I can do this.
and I can't imagine, too, as not like you started yesterday, but still on the newer scheme of being a tattoo artist. I got into doing conventions. I'd already been tattooing for, almost a decade, but I was doing it in the comfort and seclusion of my own little space.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of artists have a hard time sort of breaking out of that shell, and I think that could be related to a lot of people, even outside of that, where they're just drawing. They don't want anybody to see their work. They're either, and I don't think it was that for me. I don't think I was like, I just was focused on this one set of the industry that I thought I had to work on, was building up my local base, which is very important in tattooing. But I think getting out not only helped, sort of give me that confirmation that I was doing things right, but also it opened up the world of tattooing much larger, and I think the same thing again with, I keep coming back to comic book artists, because I see these guys a lot when I'm on these Comic-Cons, that, you could, be by yourself on maybe online and meet some people, but to get out and actually speak to people. I think it's not only inspiring, but I think it takes your art to that next level, especially in a professional career wise.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's, I think that's the sad thing about, a lot of the conventions here in Sweden, at least, a lot of the artists go there only to compete. They're not there to socialize and do like we talked about earlier.
But is there a certain competition on this one?
Yeah, I mean, there's always competitions. It's you have best color, best black and gray, or blah, 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 all of these different things.
You do have that. There are people with that attitude and that mindset, where they're, trophy hunters. They're just out.
Definitely. And I understand that as well.
Yeah, it's its own thing. I'm not going to knock it, because it is in itself its own challenge, and it is rewarding, because I will be the first to admit that when someone does hand you an award for something, it is very, very cool. It's like, wow, like, they like me. They really, really like me.
Nice reference.
Yeah. Thank you. And so, and for me, I have a couple of awards that are really special to me, and other ones which they hang in the shop, just because I think it's good for shops. It looks good in the shop. Really good. But there's a couple that were really, really important to me, which was, and they hang in my station today, is there's these two first place. It was a small color and a large color, and they were the first time that I ever got first place anything, and it was just like, oh my god, like I can't, like I didn't expect to even place, let alone actually win this category. And so they're like, it was the first time that ever happened, and it's really kind of special to me. And then they actually, at the Star Wars Celebration conventions, like they just had in Orlando, and they've had in the past in London and Anaheim and in Germany, they have a Star Wars tattoo competition, which is super cool, because it was put on by this guy, Shane Turgeon, who wrote two coffee table books, The Force and the Flesh, which is all Star Wars tattoos.
No way.
So he put out...
I'm getting that.
You got to get them. On Amazon. I think they're on Amazon. I don't know.
Amazon.
We're not sponsored.
Josh it.
So Shane put on these competitions that were strictly for Star Wars tattoos, which was a really cool thing to have in an official event like that. And it was years ago when I first met Shane, and I just happened to be attending the convention, and I had a client who was also attending who had just done a Darth Maul portrait. This was kind of early in my portrait phase, and he entered because we just found out about this together. And I won a runner-up, and I was like, I didn't even know, that was going to happen. And then that like totally pushed me further into the Star Wars world. And since then I won another one at Anaheim, and then I got the highest honor for me, which was to judge at this year's Orlando.
Oh, dude, badass.
As a judge, I felt like it was like full circle, for me to come around and get the honor to do that. So those are the only plaques that are hanging in my station. There's only ones that really.
But I think that's good.
That really, and it's not. I'm not doing it to show off. I'm not doing it to be like, oh, look at all these trophies. It's more like these ones I'm really, really proud of. And I'd like, if people have questions about them, I'm happy to tell the story about them. More so than just like, trying to collect them for a number of who has the most of them.
Look how good I am. Look
at all the shiny things, So, but again, I don't want to sound like I'm knocking people. That some people are just like way into the they like that competition. Yeah. Everyone's got different motives and different ideas of what they need to do in their career. But so it's not all about the awards, but it sure is nice when someone gives you one.
Definitely. And I think something that like we talk about a lot of things like what not to do and what to do sometimes, but it's still like for some people the off thing works. And if it's just collecting trophies, if that works for you, if you can work through that, and it's not putting like a lot of pressure on you or anything like that, I think just fucking go for it.
It might be the drive for you. That might be the thing that you need.
That's what I mean. Like it's very specific to the person. Like if it works, just fucking hunt that thing down to the end of the earth, just take it as far as you can, and then.
Of course. But it's sad for all the guests going to these places because a lot of people go to conventions to get tattoos. Definitely. And that's why I was so busy because majority of the people at this convention were there to compete and do big pieces. So they had people with them from the places they were coming from and doing big pieces. Amazing stuff. Don't get me wrong. These guys are great artists, and I'm just starting out, so I've got nothing. But I feel like they should be a little bit more open to people, talking to people, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's sort of like, unfortunately, that's a long-running trait in the tattoo industry, people not want to talk to other people, which is also why, I love all the guys at Huckleberry, because it's such a welcoming place. Opposite. As is the shop I work at, and my friends' shops that I visit in the States.
What is the shop you work at?
I work at so I didn't even mention that. No. Well, if anyone finds themselves in the Northeast America near New York City, I have a little shop called Funhouse Tattooing. It's in a town called Tannersville, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and a half west of New York City, about 2 hours north of Philly. So if you can imagine the country map sort of up in the top. But but I do a lot of traveling with the different conventions, so I'm kind of all over America a lot. And I've spent some time out in Oregon at Area 51, my friends there. I was just at Resistance Rose in Orlando. So those are some of the places that I end up popping up a lot. But again, to mention about the shops, to have these warm and welcoming, not just for other artists, but for people. I think people appreciate walking into a shop and not being looked down upon, or even if their idea is stupid, because sometimes they are. You don't look down on them. You help to educate them. And
it's not stupid for them.
No,
which is
but the thing is, they don't have the same references. You have like a professional outlook. They don't. You have to sort of understand that people don't know your job. Like they know the gist of it, like the top sort of layer.
And you have to be careful when you comment on stuff. Because one man's trash is another man's treasure. So I just want to say
it's very
that.
poetic.
Very much.
Yeah, shut up, Robert. Robert, this is Sketchbook Heroes.
I read a book once.
No, but I think something we've missed to do as well is, Josh, you haven't told us any. We never introduced you properly.
No.
So.
Yeah. Like, how did you begin? Who are you? Where are you from? And
well, I feel like at this point in the podcast, people are like, it's a mystery. They're like, who is this mysterious man?
And this is what we do. We just trail off.
Yeah.
Well, again, my name is Josh Bodwell. If anybody is on the social media, my Instagram, it's at Josh Bodwell, and Facebook is facebook.com/Josh Bodwell Tattoos. See a running theme? I just put my name there, and then people find me. It's nice. Very easy to find.
What was your name again?
I forgot. No, it's Josh Bodwell is pretty much all my social media. But I'm a tattoo artist that specializes in portraiture and realism and even sort of illustrative stuff, kind of in the realm of pop culture. That's sort of my niche now. It's the stuff that I love. And as we talked about before, when you nerd out on the art that you like to draw and like to work on, now at this point in my career, I get to do the things that I really enjoy. Just things from Star Wars, from movies, from comic books, and even some Disney sprinkled in there. You'd be surprised at how many Disney fans are out there that like tattoos these days.
I loved your Beauty and the Beast one. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I totally missed that one. Which one was that?
It's pretty recent. Pretty
recent, right?
Yeah. Actually, and it's funny, there's a lot of Beauty and the Beast fans. I actually ended up doing a few. I did some... a couple of half sleeves on people that were all Beauty and the Beast themes. I think that right now wins the what's the largest Disney type pieces that I do. It's probably Beauty and the Beast. Maybe because it's I don't know. It's a bit of a darker story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like how more Star Wars fans have tattoos than Star Trek fans because it's it's a little it's a little tougher.
That's true.
If you like Beauty and the Beast, you're
Is that a Grimm story?
It's a very old. I don't know if it's a Grimm story. Yeah, I know it's an old story.
Because primarily they do the Grimm ones, right?
Well, I guess someone on the internet will probably correct this, but I'm pretty sure that it, like all those old stories, it probably had some horrible ending, like the Beast just eats Belle and rips her to shreds, and then everyone's like, "Oh, well, that sucks," and then that's the end.
The moral
I'm the only one who went dirty with that one. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's Robert's thing.
Sorry, everybody.
But I think it's current as well now. Right now, I think, isn't the movie on cinemas or something like that?
Yeah, it's out now. Or
live action.
Oh, live action. Yeah, the live action.
I've heard it's supposed to be really good. They put some new songs
I haven't heard that.
They did the old numbers.
From anyone that has come through that's been Disney fans, it's been a high approval.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
It didn't do as well as I thought it was going to because I had this idea, much like when The Force Awakens came out, you had nostalgia mixed with uber hype, mixed with a multi-generation of fans. Yeah. And that's what skyrocketed it to making bajillions of dollars.
Yeah.
My prediction before Beauty and the Beast came out was that it was going to shatter the records. Didn't quite do that, but still, at this point, they're making so much money off it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's not a loss, exactly. Yeah.
But people seem to genuinely like it, and it's a win for them. I think Disney owning now Marvel, owning Star
Wars. They
own
everything right now, yeah.
They got the right formula, though, so I can't be mad. You can't be mad at the
not at all.
No. I enjoy all of it.
I think that Disney has actually managed to sort of at least in Star Wars, they've sort of managed to get the humor in without ruining the sort of the story. They're not... the jokes aren't so crude that they sort of make everything else seem ridiculous afterwards,
Right, and even with flexing. There's so much flexing going on in this booth right now. Everyone listening at home can't see the amount of flexing. There's just a lot of shirtless.
They can.
They're just shirtless dudes flexing. Anyway, back to our regular
This is
schedule.
a comic book pose that I'm very. Chicks love doing it. Boob and ass shot.
Are you getting any questions?
Just a lot of hellos. We got some hellos from Italy, some hellos from Brazil,
Papi.
some hellos from Colombia, some
Buongiorno. That's not Colombian.
Bon Jovi. That's all I heard.
We're sticking with the Italian for now.
Okay,
pizza. No,
but
sorry.
Where were we? I got totally just lost.
Disney humor.
Oh, right.
It legit.
I was gonna say with the Marvel films because Guardians just came out.
I still haven't seen it.
I have not seen it yet. It came out here way early. You guys get all the Marvel movies before United States.
Yeah, we got it Wednesday.
Yeah,
it came out.
And then so anyway, they go over the top with the humor, but they dial it back, but still give a few jokes. They know that there's levity needed. Sometimes you almost need it in when it's something is so absurd as a giant green man running around.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of levity to just be it's okay. So I think they know the formula. They're very, very smart about it, which, as a comic book fan, we've been watching whatever comic book movies they've given us over the years, and it started out really, really poor. Even though I still love Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher.
Oh, man.
And, come on.
I haven't even broken that, the Blu-ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's mint.
Mint condition. I can't believe they even reissued that in HD. Did that even need to happen?
I bought it for $3.
Hey, it's the HD that does it, though. No? The acting is way more better in HD.
Dude, one that a lot of people forget about. There actually is there's a David Hasselhoff Nick Fury movie, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I know.
Yes, I've seen it once.
I haven't seen it.
Pretty amazing.
I have not seen that.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I've seen the images of it, with the eye patch and all that, and it looks cool.
Does
Like,
he?
Well, as far as David Hasselhoff
He
goes.
looks like the original Nick
Nick
Fury.
Fury.
He had the white stripes.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It
Okay,
worked.
they've managed to do that even. Like,
But the rest of it was terrible. Yeah.
no acting included.
And I think there was, when we were younger, there was a bit more like offbeat comic book movies, things like The Crow, which are still really
Oh,
good.
man.
you
Still
know?
love it.
Yeah.
Even some ones that are, it's cheesy, but Tank Girl, I still love Tank Girl. I mean, come on.
We
That's
love
one
Tank
of the
Girl. Yeah, dude.
Oh man.
Like, it doesn't matter if it, like, nostalgia has me, like, by the balls with that one, so I don't even, like...
You're gonna find this out that I'm gonna interject a lot of random stories, but my Lori Petty Tank Girl random story. One of the only times I spent any time in L.A. or Venice Beach, I went and I met up with a friend. And his girlfriend was getting off of work. We went to go get something to eat, and I'm thinking, this is my first time in LA. I'm bound to see somebody famous. We go into the sushi joint. I saw one celebrity that night, and it was Lori Petty, who was hammered drunk. She was so hammered. She was like just, they were loud at the table. She was kind of wobbling and like walking past us to get to the bathroom, like kind of stumbling into stuff. And I was like, all right, that was kind of an LA story. Lori Petty.
Nice.
So that was my one and only sighting in Los Angeles.
Hey,
So cool. It kind
good
of
sighting,
ruined.
though.
It kind of ruined her career, but I mean, for the fans,
Yeah.
like it's such a good. She committed so hard to that character.
She did.
and she really fought to make it. I've heard.
And she I think she does a good
Fucking
job
nailed it.
of nailing the character.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really.
definitely.
I think every fan of the comic also associates her with the character.
Definitely, yes.
So definitely.
And
a
then
solid-
Ice-T, obviously.
Ice-T is the...
the cream on top.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
the cherry.
the cherry on top. So I hope that there's some listeners are like that maybe know some of the more broadly known movies we're talking about. They're following along, and then we're saying things like Hasselhoff, Nick Fury, and they're going on YouTube right now.
Just look it up.
And looking that stuff up.
Check it, because it looks good.
Your world-
it's not good, but it looks good.
Your world will change for the worst.
Yes.
Also watch, like, Dolph Lundgren's He-Man.
Oh,
That
was
Masters of
so-
the Universe. Yeah.
Oh, man.
yeah. It's not He-Man, okay? It's Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And it's got a pretty stellar Drew Struzan painted
Oh my
poster.
fucking-
Hey,
It's
dude, that's
really
what
good.
sold. That's what
Yeah.
sold it. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, they're like,
they
how do we
say-
sell this movie? Like, get Drew Struzan.
Exactly.
Oh my god, it's just as epic as any of the Star Wars ones he's done.
it's so epic.
It's
Yeah.
like if you just switch it to a lightsaber and put some clothes on Dolph Lundgren. You're good.
yeah,
Star Wars. He has like the blonde hair. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's epic. It's so good.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you have so much stuff to watch
And
now.
if you need more movies, Beastmaster. Just watch that shit.
Quality.
Quality. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, shit. 1 and 2.
I have a friend Jeff who might be one of his favorite movies of all time. Just
badass.
saying. So
I haven't seen it.
No, because we used to have something at work called Shit Flick Friday. So every other Friday, we would just like take, movies like Sharknado from Asylum, or just like really old movies that we know are terribly like horrible, but they have like something that makes them watchable, And Beastmaster, oh man, we just laughed so hard, it's so worth watching.
the thing that I always wonder is like, so bad movies don't just like happen overnight.
No, definitely
It takes
not.
so much work. There's so many people, so many talented people who go to work every day from 9 to 5, or it's film industry, so calls probably at like 6 a.m. working their asses off to put out a giant pile of garbage. Like I wonder if some of it's just like a thing, like I just want to do some work, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna show up. You got the audio guy just holding the boom mic, just going, what the fuck? Like, but I'm getting paid, so whatever. Like,
And some of these movies, they have like I don't know what Beastmaster and those had like a budget, but some of these movies that we watched at work, like Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf. Like some budgets are like
Sharktopus versus werewolf. I like that.
No, whale
wolf.
wolf.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
It's a whale part wolf.
Yes, part whale, part human. Actually,
Part human as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
They lost track. They lost control of the Sharktopus on the first movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah,
movie.
they put like a little like controlling device on its head. First thing that happens is like a speedboat just hits that little device and it's out of control. So in the second movie,
That was not thought out very well. That technology was not
and the
thought
best
out.
thing is they were like, we spent millions and millions of dollars. And then the second one, they were like, how do we stop this beast? we'll make a whale wolf. And you're like, but you couldn't control the first one, with the iPhone on its head. Why would this work?
Why would this work?
Yeah.
Well, it was an iPhone 7, that's why.
You just reminded me of while modern comic book movies are great, I was not a Batman versus Superman fan. And that same problem.
I haven't seen it.
I have the same problem. Can we spoil some things? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, just spoil it.
Alert.
You can't spoil this movie.
Yeah, because it's that bad. If Lex Luthor or Lex Luthor Jr. or whatever he's supposed to be, if he can't deal with Superman being around and he hates aliens, why would you build an even stronger, crazier alien, dude? Just to that doesn't work. That doesn't make any sense.
But they got Doomsday.
Yeah, so what happens? So what happens then? Then you're just like, oh shit! Now I got this
stronger alien that I have to take care of.
You have to build another one and then another
stronger one. And just to get back to the point about the crappy movies, some of them have like a budget of like $100,000 to like $300,000, like $300,000,
$300,
and which isn't a lot really if you think about production, the amount of
production wise. Yeah, so a lot of people are just doing this because they sort of just want to make movies that aren't sort of controlled. They just want to do like their shit. Like when we watched Dragon Wasps. Like, that movie was fucking genius.
I've seen that one too.
They just wanted to do shit.
Why have I seen all these movies?
Because it's a stupid movie.
Yeah.
But they wanted to do something, and they just went all the way with it. Like, this is the stupid idea that I have, and that you just follow it from 1 to 100, and you're done. You have your movie. Like, it's not good, but it has, like, entertainment value. So,
I have to believe that in those instances, especially the ones that are over the top, I do believe that you're absolutely right. I have a dude I went to high school with who got into special effects makeup and stuff, and he left the A-list Hollywood stuff. He worked on some projects in the 90s that were A-list blockbuster movies, left that to work in the B-movie industry because I think he found that there was more freedom, there was more creativity, there was less corporate stuff, and I think he really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And worked on some really awesome B-movies that you just like Killer Whale Wasp, Gorilla Man. But you get to design this cool creature and get to be probably a lot more artistic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think working on stuff like that is where they sort of like, they want to hire you because you know what the fuck you're doing. Whereas you get hired in like big ass companies, they usually just like want to tell you what to do instead of sort of like hiring you. Like they know you have the skill, but they want to sort of like control the skill, Whereas like independent or garbage movies, you get like they hire you and they're like, okay, this is the sort of like the character that we want. Just use your skills to sort of create it. And I think that's priceless for all of us. Like getting that sort of freedom. Like we need a whale wolf crossed with a Josh Bodwell Sketchbook Heroes podcast crew, and you get a character
like
out of
each
that.
one arm sticks out.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Someone draw that, please. Send it over.
Yeah, feel free to grab that concept and just make it a reality. You can photo bash it. It's cool.
Oh yeah, tag us. And don't forget Josh.
But I think that you're absolutely right, and what I feel like we're touching on here, while some people might be listening saying, why are they just talking about movies and stuff? I think some people don't realize that, part of the reason I think that we're such fans of some of this pop culture is because of the art behind it and the amount of artistry and creativity that goes into these projects.
100%.
I know for me, that's probably why Star Wars resonated so much, because it's such a visual, spectacle, and I've, appreciated all that. I mean, I'm not a prequel hater. I mean, no one likes Jar Jar, but the prequel has some of the most amazing set designs and vehicle designs.
Oh,
and,
definitely. Yeah.
I think it's Doug Chiang. I think that's the guy's name.
Doug Chiang, yeah.
And his artwork is beautiful, and it was represented and translated onto screen so well. It just wasn't all packaged together as nicely.
No,
but
definitely.
The art and design that goes into that, I mean, that's one of those things that I'm a big fan of. I have a huge collection of, the art of books, art of movies and films that I love. So I love to see that process, that thought process. And a lot of it is similar to, say, how we would do a tattoo. You sketch up an idea. It's not quite it. You tweak it a little bit. You move it. You might get some notes from someone, and then they change it a little bit further, because it is, it's not just, you're not doing it just for your own health. You're doing it as a job. So it's really interesting to see the similarities in that. And I've always appreciated it. And I think if I didn't tattoo, that's probably the other avenue I would have wanted to get into.
Definitely.
Yeah. But that's why I love tattooing so much, because I've done not so much concept work, but I have done a lot of illustrations and worked with bigger companies like this. And the tattoo, like if I'm doing a tattoo, the feedback is just instant. So
Definitely.
Instead of waiting a month for feedback, you get it straight away, and you're like, oh, I'll just change it, and they're like, perfect, and it's done.
Yeah.
And you get the money, and that's it. That's why I love tattoo.
And also, like, why we talk about, like, movies so much is also that, like, it doesn't matter where inspiration comes from. Like, whatever works for you. Because movies sort of trigger a lot in us, and we use that sort of feedback to, like, in our art. Like, I can watch something totally unrelated to, like, art, you know, like, unrelated to what we do. But I can still use the inspiration that I'm getting into art. Like, you know, I can focus that into my art. Like, oh shit, I watched this totally unrelated movie, now I feel like super inspired for no reason. It's like when you watch Rocky, what is the first thing you do? It doesn't matter what sort of physique you have or whatever, if you're a boxer or not. Yeah, you just want to, like, you hear Eye of the Tiger or like the classic soundtrack from Rocky, and you're like, oh shit, I know
your girlfriend. Yeah.
You run. I was going to go with running upstairs, but that's
exactly, and hunting chickens. But he's like,
Adrian.
we do not condone that. No, but yeah, I mean,
She punches me.
oh, she is pretty strong.
Yeah, she's fucking strong.
But well, that's what I mean. Like, you take the inspiration and you focus it into what you do best. Like, it doesn't matter. Like music, it's totally not drawing, but it still works as a sort of amplifier to what we do.
For some people, you know, I feel like I think we all like music to inspire and be our background to our art. But I know some people that, like, is their soul thing. Like, they're not as much into movies as we are, not as much as the comics, but they love to put on, like, an album or favorite album, crank that, and that's what gives them that extra boost of creativity or that extra energy. You know, whereas on the same level, I'll put on, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy in the background and have that playing.
I love that.
While I'm, you know, and also the music on that. So I guess that goes hand in hand. So, but
yeah, that's and it's the type of music in the studio as well, like the whole 70s and 80s.
But it's so feel good as well. Like, it really does. The, like,
I love the soundtrack that's in the Huckleberry soundtrack is a good one.
Yeah.
We at Funhouse we mix it up. We have a bunch of different eclectic, you know, musical tastes. But I think that there's a time and a place for everything, and I do like a lot of music because of that. So one day it's just like maybe somebody's having one of those, you know, I just need some metal kind of days and just need to put something aggressive and get through it. Maybe it's you know, 80s you know pop, you know, you know, or like you said, might be something kind of mellow just to kind of chill out. Yeah. I like lately I've been loving to put on like synthesizer soundtrack type stuff, you know, where I feel like I'm in like a montage movie where I'm like driving like a convertible Kung Fury style, like I'm about to like launch over a dinosaur with a machine gun and like I don't know, there's something about that, and it's like really rhythmic, so I'm not like listening to lyrics, I'm just sort of getting into it.
Just
That definitely, that was I'm gonna look up the name of it. I just got a new album that I was listening to on the drive up, and I'm gonna Pilot Priest or Priest Pilot. I have to look it up.
Pilot Priest.
It's just one word, but it's like their album is called like Original Motion Picture Soundtrack, even though it's not a soundtrack.
No,
but it's just
but it is sort of like a tribute.
Yeah, and it's like I can listen to that stuff like all day long while I work, and I think it's, you know, where I could put in like Daft Punk or something that sort of Pilot Priest, that was the name of the band.
Awesome.
But yeah, like I totally dig on that, where, you know, you need to be in that headspace, especially for the kind of intense work that tattoo artists have to do, which people don't sometimes understand. That
I mean, the amount of concentration you need to pull off just
the amount of patience you need to have with other people, because that's the only I think there's a downside. It's that you do, I mean, it's an upside and a downside that you have to work on a living human being.
Yeah,
definitely.
And they're there with you. It's like, for anybody listening that's more of a traditional illustrator artist, it's like, imagine every time you pick up the pencil or the iPad Pro, you have the client or a friend sitting right in front of you.
Yeah.
Staring at you while you do that work.
Or you're using your friend, like your piece of paper or your iPad is like you're leaning it on your friend. To use him as sort of a drawing table.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking about the physical aspect. I was just talking about just having someone on you, you know. But at the same time, that's also, I think, one of the more gratifying things about being a tattoo artist, because you do have that relationship with the client, if you just paint a picture and maybe if someone buys it and goes, I love that and it's cool, you know, they have it in their house or whatever. But when you're creating a piece of art for somebody, like it's the connection there is so much greater. There's nothing really like that, you know. And someone can sell that painting after they bought it, but they can't sell their arm or their leg.
No, exactly. And that's the reason why I do it.
Just go to Brazil. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
In Russia, we sell arms.
Yeah, exactly. We have Star Wars arm.
We have your dream catcher. It is on a virgin skin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my really bad Russian impression. Sorry.
Sounded like a Russian leprechaun.
Dude, we've done Danish. We've insulted Germans, French people, Australians.
We're running out of people to insult now.
Yeah.
But no. That is the big reason why I do tattoos. Actually, just seeing, like, when you do a really great job and you nail the design for the client, and they look in the mirror and they see it, and you just see that, you know, the twist in their face when they're like, wow, you, like, when you really nail it, when it's even better than they expect it, like.
But on the flip side of that, equally bad is when, and not that they don't like it, but when they don't know how to express the emotion, and they're just staring at the mirror with this like blank, like, kind of face, and you're like, what? Like, what did I do? Like, what is wrong with that?
That was actually my biggest sort of worry when I was watching Miami Ink or whatever the hell it was called, and people were like, oh, and then they looked in the mirror. And nothing. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a little trade secret story. So about 2.5 years ago, I think it was, I filmed a reality show in the States called Epic Ink. And what was different about it wasn't a competition, and it wasn't a drama-filled shop show. It wasn't like Miami Ink, where it was all about, like, who messed up at the front desk today, or like...
Shoji!
So it was more about supposed to be like a shop like that we would work in, the one that is full of sort of camaraderie and fun, and people getting tattoos that are fun or funny or even a little outrageous. So it was fun for the viewers, but there was nothing about drama in the show. And even still, you'd have to do some things just to get the reaction that you needed to make a solid show. Because it'd be really shitty if at the end, like when the reveal happens, if they're just like,
thank you, Josh. Very good.
So, but that would happen though sometimes when you're filming these things. Like, the episode is only 22 minutes long, and there's 3 tattoos that happen. So obviously, it's not real time. There's like a long day. Yeah. And you'd have people who are tired. They've been sitting there, for hours, not only for their tattoo, but just for the production. There's things that take time, and then they're ready to do the reveal, and then it's that moment, and they finally get to see their tattoo. Because some of them, if they couldn't see it while they was being tattooed, they really are first time seeing it on their shoulder or their back. They get up to that mirror. What do you think? And they're just like, that's cool. And you're like, shit, now we have to reset, go back and pretend that we never saw it, and then kind of hype them up a little bit. Like, come on, man. Like anything that comes to mind, just like kind of get it out there. So there's like a little bit of that falsehood to that,
but you need that.
But you need it, because if you didn't have that, it would be boring television. So
definitely.
So what we did though, after a while, I hated that. I absolutely hated the fake, redos. So I was like, I was so committed to getting one take reveals. Yeah. So it became like a competition between all the artists to how many one take reveals we could get. So basically that involved like going up to the mirror, having them look at it, get all the shots you needed, all the cuts. You'd wait a couple minutes while the producers kind of like check their notes, make sure they got everything, and then get the thumbs up, like we're all good. So it was a competition to do this. And I'll just say, I may have won that competition, but I cheated a little bit, if you want, by basically I figured out what the producers had notes on. And so I would have somebody, before we even went up to mirror, I'd say the things that they would say. Hey, like anything that comes to mind, you tell me. You can take a pause. It doesn't matter. Like we'll edit it together. Just take a minute, take it in, be excited. Tell me what you like. I would prep them. Yeah. So when they got up, they like at least had that in the back of their head. And I could coax some of it out of them too. I could talk to them because they could cut me out. So I could be like, so what's your favorite part, man? Like, and get people to get all those notes down and then be the champion of one take. So we tried to make it as real as possible. But again, as you know, in anything that involves production, there is some amount of, things you have to do.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's super hard to sort of, because I've been a stuntman in like a couple of productions, and it's always like that. You have to, like, just to sell it, even like these like real time sort of like television shows that had like singing competitions, there were cuts, like, you know, real time singing competitions. They were like, okay, we're gonna set this person on fire. He's gonna run through, and then they're gonna do this thing, and they're gonna sing, and then you're like, okay, now they're gonna sing it for the 7th time, for the first time,
For the first time.
yeah, and that's how productions work. Like, and when people watch like shows like Horrible Bosses, you know,
Right.
like that's a first. No,
No,
these
that's not.
people aren't used to being in front of television or like in productions. They will do mistakes. It'll be boring television. You have to
And they're
edit.
not getting those waterwork tears on the first try either.
no.
Definitely not.
Hell no.
It might not even like sort of like just because they're nervous in front of cameras, they might not even notice like, oh, I'm gonna give you $100,000, and they're like, this is production. And no, I'm giving you $100,000.
Like
And
you're
they're like, and then you get the reaction like on this third take, you know, like because it sort of settles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with any of the, like, there was, I don't know if any of them came over. Like I was saying, the show that I was on didn't have a syndication here in Sweden.
Yeah.
It had a few in Europe, surprisingly not in the UK, even though they have an affiliate channel there, but there was like France and Italy and Germany. But they didn't, for some reason, like, I guess nobody likes tattoo TV here in Sweden. But
Miami Ink, man.
Miami Ink. But
It's the American accent. They just wanted it in German.
yeah, but
That's it.
I was going to say there was also some other art-based ones. I don't know if you guys got that. There was a couple kind of like almost like how Face Off is special
Face-Off,
effects.
Yeah, we had that.
They had ones that were just for artists. And
The one,
didn't get that.
what's that one called?
I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I know that one pop artist who always takes like Star Wars toys.
Yeah, that was the second season, right?
Yes, yeah. What was that show
Shit, have I
called?
missed this?
I've seen the first. I love the first season.
Yeah.
like because the quality of the artists were a lot better. I think personally for me, but fuck, what was it called? Like,
And some of it was silly, like, oh, we're gonna take you to the trash heap, and you have 10 minutes to grab stuff, and then you have to like make something out of it.
Yeah.
So some of it was a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, if you don't have that sort of set of,
Right.
it's gonna be garbage.
but I mean, it was TV, so obviously they had a lot more time.
No,
But at least I love to see creative people doing creative things.
Yeah.
So I think as long as like that kind of standard in reality TV keeps up, like Face Off has done brilliantly with that. Where
Yeah.
they've
I
actually
love
even
that
changed
show.
their tone. If you've seen it from first season to now, they don't fight amongst themselves quite as much.
Yeah,
that's
I've
good,
noticed
that's
it.
good, yeah.
I noticed.
I think they're kind of like over that.
they're realizing that we don't need the drama because people just want to see awesome work.
But that's what I mean. That's
Yeah.
why I watch it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care if Soji didn't like do the dishes at Miami Ink. I'm like, I don't give a shit about the dishes, or like he messed up a stencil. Just like I don't care. I just want to see
Exactly.
actual work, sort of like,
Yeah.
and hear the backstories, you know, and stuff like that.
As long as they weren't all sob stories, because I don't know
No,
if you
no,
guys
dude, no. Yes.
saw a lot of that.
man.
The that was a trend for a while that everybody like thought that they had to have a sob.
Yeah.
And you can tell by people coming into the shops too. They're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really have a
backstory, yeah,
sad
sob.
story for this.
And like, good. Let's
Exactly,
get down
like-
to a cool tattoo. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But-
But yeah, I just want to like stop this epic derail and go back to like a little bit more
Whore.
Yes.
because, I mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
I want to go home and get drunk with Josh.
Yeah. No, we've got things to do.
But no, how did you get into art? Like from the beginning? Let's take it like
Oh, we're going way back now. Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like we've done like a little bit of a memory lane today. Like we started with like us meeting like a year or so ago, and then we went back to like conventions. I'm just like slowly backtracking. In a minute, I'll be like, all right, so I was 5 years old, and got my first He-Man toy. No, for art for me, I'm so ingrained in fantasy art and in sci-fi art. That's really what was my inspiration. And I think that's why it resonates so well with me and why it really is my niche. My uncle was an artist, and I even still have a drawing of Christopher Reeves, a Superman that he drew,
Oh,
a pencil
no way.
drawing. And he was just, an amateur artist. He was a professional sign painter, so he took his art into
Sweet.
hand painting signs before printers started printing all the
yeah.
signs. So when I was a kid, he was like this, only professional artist I had ever met and knew. And in his little workshop area in his house, he had this big poster of Frazetta painting.
Nice.
Frank
All
Frazetta
right.
painting. It
Yeah.
was the one where the polar bears are pulling the like Viking
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Oh, it's so
and it's so epic,
epic.
and they're all coming.
I
The
love
perspective
it.
is wild. And I remember being a kid and being in there and being like I had never been exposed to anything like that, And I was just like, that is incredible, and that is art, and that is something that I want to know more about and be, and be involved in. And I think at about that same time, I think I was probably maybe, I want to say like 9 or 10 years old. And then by the time I was 11 or 12, my father started bringing home comic books like that he would buy at the store, and just and they were random. He didn't know what was what. He was just like, oh, kids like comic books, and he would just bring them home for me. Stuff like Green Lantern, which I never really read a lot of, but I had it. And then X-Men. And once I had some X-Men's in my hand, I became a huge X-Men fan. So I think it was the comic book art that was like, oh, I can draw these things too. And I would look at, artists like Frazetta. I'd look at his sketches. I would look at Jim Lee doing Wolverine, and I would start to emulate these artists, and I would just redraw it over and over and over again. And so it was comic books and fantasy art that like pushed me towards art, and I thought I wanted to be a comic book artist.
So did we.
Doesn't everybody? It sounds so
cool.
It sounds so cool when you're a kid. And then I had the luxury of getting to help out at the local comic shop when I was little. They would pay me in comic books, and I would help stock the shelves and stuff.
Awesome.
It was really a cool little gig.
Dream job.
It was a really fun job as a kid, and they were great people, and so it would just like hang around the shop and just be there. And, I always think back, I was like, I hope I wasn't like too annoying as a little kid, but I was always around. And, but I got to meet like some of the guest artists they'd have come in to do signings, and I'd pick their brains. And I'd pick their brains like, oh, they had people like Jim Valent, who he did a lot of like the sexy like Catwoman in the 90s. Remember the purple suit Catwoman?
Yep.
That was Jim Valent.
Okay.
Because he lived in nearby, and so he would come in and I would pick his brains. And Rags Morales, who did he's the DC artist.
Yep.
He also lives locally, so he would come in.
Fuck.
Yeah, he would come in, and I would pick his brain. I was just an annoying little 12-year-old kid, like, you draw comics, tell me things, And he was doing.
What pencil do you use?
Yes, what paper do I use? And you know what? I still have on the back of a comic book bag, he wrote down some books I should get, like How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way and some of those early ones,
That one.
And then even he looked at some drawings of mine that were mostly copies of other things, and some
Definitely.
But he would look at those, and he was critiquing. It was a little light lesson, and he had a little sketch, like a little figure sketch, and he had a little sun, and he was showing me like how I should do shadows and stuff, because I was a kid. And I got to see some pages of he was working on Turok the Dinosaur Hunter.
Oof. Oh my god.
So I got to see the pages before they were done. And in that, I learned what it is to be a comic book artist, which is you deal with editors and short time turnovers, and you get paid shit. And like, I started to see the glimpse of the real world of being a comic book artist, and I was like, I don't think I want to do that. I thought it was all fun, and you draw your favorite heroes, and that's all you do. So I think as I got a little bit older, I realized that it really wasn't a career that I wanted. It was just something I was interested in. And
that's sad though.
Well,
like,
yeah,
in a way
that it's not that easy as for professional artists to do that. I feel like most of the guys make their money on their commissions and selling original art after the fact.
Definitely,
and like the art itself that they're producing it's so underpaid, and it's a travesty that industries like Marvel make so much money,
money off,
and still
the printed page is worthless
to this day. I mean, I think Jim Lee was one of the pioneers who actually made it more. Like, they became the pop stars because he wasn't shy about signing the cover, like
this is me.
Boom, my name.
But you know what I like about comics as well that you touched upon is that comics, when I sort of got a comic in my hand, I was like, this is something, like, you could almost break it down a bit easier than Frazetta.
Right.
Because Frazetta, you just looked at it and you're like, this is beyond me.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand how this happens.
Yeah, like, fucking
and
amazing.
comic books, like, when you saw them, you started finding, like, Jim Lee does his thing, J. Scott Campbell does his thing, and you can sort of, like, mentally break it down.
Right.
And sort of handle, like, okay, this is how you draw the face. There's a line that goes like that. This is what's happening. You get a lot of information. Whereas Frazetta was like, I'm really good at painting. and
deal with it.
And deal with it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think it was comic books that gave me a lot of fundamentals that I think I still use today. A lot of compositional stuff, like learning how things lay out, because we have to lay things out on a body, much like, if a splash page on a comic's only be so successful, and you're only going to tell a story so well. If you're not good at telling a story, in sequential order.
Exactly.
It's the same thing when we're doing a tattoo. We might still be telling a story. When I lay out a sleeve of characters from Star Wars, I might be using different sources, but I'm trying at the end of the day to create a composition that tells a story. I tell my clients that all the time. I make up in my head, like, what this movie poster is, like what the name of this episode would be while I'm making an image for. So, and I think that adds to the compositional layout instead of it just being like, here's some random things, or here's like a totem pole of heads, or like, I try to make it feel like it's compositionally something. And but I learned that from comic books. So there's
definitely
buy your comics, kids.
No, but yeah, comics are a great gateway to art if you feel that it's intimidating, I think, because there are like the interiors are usually simpler as well.
Because they have to be done fast.
Yeah, because they have to be done fast. So you get that further breakdown. Like, let's say the cover, like usually sometimes they have like guest artists on the cover that has like this super high polished stuff, but sometimes it's the same like
Bruce and He-Man poster.
Exactly. No, but I mean, yeah. And when you get the comic, let's say your favorite artist did the cover and then he did the interiors too, you get that sort of like, okay, this is how he does it when he has like more time, because it's just one piece, like the cover. And then you go inside the comic and you're like, okay, this is how he simplified like the hands. Like J. Scott Campbell would use the sticky hands, and Jim Lee does that as well.
Sticky hands, yeah.
Yeah, like the fingers are like a big lump. Yeah. I think the guy from Witchblade, Michael Turner, did it even worse. He just like, he had even like no separation between, they were just like.
I think his costuming too, he made it so like every character had like two middle fingers in like a sleeve kind of thing. So that he could always just have to draw like a few of them. And the little tricks that
I use them a lot.
Little tips and tricks that help move the art piece along, especially when you're talking about deadlines and pieces. And really the point of that interior, I'm banging on things now.
No way.
The point of that interior work is to tell a story, and that's its number one job.
Yeah.
If it was all just pretty pictures, it probably wouldn't tell a story. It would just be a bunch of posing, And
the best thing is, who taught me to do a fist? Jim Lee. In one of the Wizard magazines, they used to have. Remember Wizard magazine?
Oh yeah.
In the middle somewhere, they used to have this like how to draw the tutorial one. And I remember Jim Lee doing like the. Oh shit, I don't remember the character, but I remember like he doing the like, this is how you draw like a fist, this is how you draw the fist like towards you, and he had this like whole breakdown of it, and it was just like, that's where Genius. I learned to draw fists.
And I just copied Ilias, and that's how I learned.
You copied his homework, and then,
exactly.
But no, it's I think that there's a lot to be taken away from that can translate to a lot of other things. I can't imagine anyone's listening to your podcast that hasn't picked up a comic book. I think it'd be rare.
So, yeah. You'd be surprised.
But if they haven't, it's really like just grab something that catches your eye, and just look at like not just them for each picture or panel's art's sake, but also like what they're able to convey. The flow of the page. I mean, that stuff's really, really important. And just to further answer your question about getting started with art, at least professionally, through high school and stuff, I got into music. I was playing in bands. I was not as interested in art, but I was still creating stuff like T-shirt designs and album covers
skateboards,
and skateboard decks. Yeah, that's all skateboard stuff.
Yeah.
Stickers. It was all about design work. So I actually inadvertently learned graphic design, and I graduated high school. I'm going to date myself now. It was 98, and the internet had really started to boom. So there was a need for people doing digital design and graphic design, and I already had the skills. So I just immediately got a job. Shortly after, I worked in a video store for a few months, and then playing VHS videos.
Sweet.
And then it was just a great job. I mean, it's like the Clerks, man. That
was my first thought as well, like Clerks.
Oh, yeah, we'd have marathons. It'd be like, oh, it's Bill Murray Day, and we just played Bill Murray films.
Oh,
it was so good. But so anyway, right from that to straight into doing graphic design. So it was a professional job, and I think I cut my teeth on how to work professionally and get paid for art. But I hated the stuff I was doing. It was really boring. It was just typesetting and making, back when Yellow Pages were a thing, making an ad for a law firm or something, really legitimately boring stuff.
Definitely.
Where I was all it'd be cool if I got to do a friend's album cover for their punk rock band.
Yeah.
But that was, very, very kind of scattered in there. So, and that then in turn led me into tattooing, because tattooing was always there as a background through high school as punk rocker. It was
when did you get your first?
I was 17, not legal to get tattooed. I told my parents, hey, Mom and Dad, I just turned 17. It was my birthday. And I'm like, I'm going to get a tattoo. And I don't know if they believe me. They're pretty cool and pretty chill. So I don't know if they were just like, yeah, sure you are, And then
that's all the approval I need.
Then I come back with the start of my 90s tribal on my arm, right on my forearm at 17.
How's that lasering going, dude?
Oh, and it's getting lasered, folks. Yeah. I had it all the way up until a couple years ago that I started lasering it. So, but it was cool, man, in 1998, 97. Yeah. That shit was hot.
I think it's still cool.
You think it's still cool?
I mean,
and that's why I don't get tattoos from Robert.
He's just gonna give you 90s George Clooney tribal.
Yeah,
Hell
exactly.
yeah.
Oh shit!
who didn't want that when that came out?
That was actually
Seriously.
I must admit.
He sold tribals for the rest of the world.
Yeah. It was it.
But
that
actually,
was it.
when I was working at the gym, we had this guy with a tribal tattoo on his arm, and I used to put up like a little like a meme from the internet that was sort of like a therapy group for people with tribals, and we used to put that up like in the changing room and like in places or on his locker.
Meeting.
And you could grab a phone number. Like for people that were insecure in the 90s, something like that.
With armband, you need to talk it out, just kind of get through it. You know,
there's help to get and everything. And he was like, "Oh motherfucker!" Now he's covered the whole thing with like a big sleeve of flowers and stuff.
I think the reason I think it's taken me so long to get it removed, I didn't really care that much. It was more of a joke. It was more like, hey, look at my 90s tribal. And I feel like in our tattoo industry, a lot of us have some bad tattoos because we've been doing it for a while. We've been doing it before we knew it was cool. You know, there's a bit of a rite of passage for us artists to have some bad tattoos, except for some of these, you know, I see these like young kids coming up and they're just like, oh, super like award-winning bodysuits. And you're like, fuck you.
But that's like everything nowadays. You know, like when we were kids, there was no YouTube. There was like images loaded, you know, like a pixel at a time from the top to the bottom. And nowadays they're introduced so fucking early. They're like, oh, a backflip. Yeah, I could do that when I was 2. Now I do like backflips from like buildings and I do like twists. And you're like, what? Like I was introduced to that when I was like in my 20s.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
So they're getting like, they know Photoshop from birth, you know. They come out with a Wacom Cintiq and they're let's do this, bro.
Yeah, they're giving an iPad Pro now at 5 years old and they're already whipping up stuff. So who knows what the next generation is.
You say 5 years old, my kids could do that when they were like not even 2 years old.
Right.
I'm not kidding. Like
I believe it.
They're fucking ninjas. I'm like, he's never going to be able to turn it on. He's like,
he's already
swipe.
He's making playlists on Spotify. He's just like,
dude, it's not far from it. That's the thing. Like they're so small and so tech savvy. The little fuckers. They're like
crazy.
I'm like,
awesome.
I can help you. He's like, I don't need your help. I'm just gonna.
And I'm amazed to see, you know, the progression of art in so many fields and all different illustration to tattoos has progressed, I think, because of the access to knowledge of that. And I think that's probably why a lot of us tattoo artists or just tattoo collectors that have been tattooed for the last, say, 20 years, you know, have some bad stuff because our perception of what is possible, what is good, what is quality has been enriched and it's changed. And that's one of the best things that the internet's brought us is that I think that creative knowledge that there's that this stuff's out there and it pushes people.
Yeah, exactly.
Further.
Limit breaking, like, oh shit, that guy did this. What if I could do, and then it works, and you sort of like raise the bar with every.
I know with tattoos, it was like you had to wait till the next month of Tattoo Magazine came out. That one tattoo magazine.
Yeah.
So we had to wait each month to see what else was being done.
I used to get those when I was working in retail. Mm-hmm. I used to read them, you know, like, because I was working and there was like so much dead time that you had to sort of fill with something. You grab like tattoo magazines, just flip through them, or just like read comics from the shelf in Swedish, of course, unfortunately, because that's what's sold in those stores. But still, you could just like, I have a couple of hours to sort of sit through here. You just read all the magazines on those shelves that you love.
I still buy magazines. I don't know why.
I love
old
iPad.
school.
Yeah.
I like the tactile thing, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's with comic books too. I don't like digital comics.
No, same here.
Actually, I love everything digital, but I hate comic books.
Yeah.
Like in digital form. There's something about it that it doesn't feel as smooth. Like it ruins the experience. Like no app that has come out till this day is good. Like for reading comics at all.
No,
like, I've tried a couple. And
Comixology stuff.
I didn't.
Comixology, do they have some digital ones now?
Yeah.
But still, it's still that tactile page turning.
Yeah, but I want to own the magazine.
That too,
you know?
yeah.
I am a collector too. I mean, I'm not. You're gonna see when you come to my house. It's not that much. I mean, have everything. in the
You're
shed.
gonna share a bit tonight.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Josh's big spoon today.
Big spoon, little spoon.
But no, I just love owning it. You know, smelling it, opening it, hearing the crack when you open it. You know,
you shouldn't crack it.
Don't
Damn
crack it.
I only buy hardcovers. They crack when you open them. Okay.
That's okay. But I like, and actually for me, with comics now, I don't read single issue stuff. I love trade paperbacks, and I love me some hardcovers because I feel like I'm going to own that forever. Like I'm not going to get rid of that.
It's more of a proper book,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel as flimsy, you know?
It's more adult.
But remember,
it's more adulting.
Hey,
to have.
remember when you bought the
more
the
expensive.
issues and then you bought the collected trade back, like,
Yes.
and then you bought the variants, and you're like,
I did that with the Crimson series. I don't know if you ever read that.
I don't think so. But they have every iteration of it being produced.
Yeah. And then now in the shelf, I only have like four collected.
yeah, exactly,
ones.
because there were like tons of them. Like they made money off of us, like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think one of
That
the
was
most impressive hardcovers I own. I don't know if you remember in the '90s the comic book Sandman, the Neil Gaiman series.
Definitely.
They came out with this like deluxe super edition. The pages were oversized. They weren't quite artist size. They weren't like original size, but they were way bigger than the normal size. They went and recolored all of the old stuff digitally, so that because some of it was only single, Pantone colors. Yeah. So they went in and did some gradients. So they recolored everything from like the first, say, 25 issues, and they released in these big hardcover books with like embossed books. They go in slip covers. It's pretty serious.
They have them in like one of the two only shops here in Stockholm that sell comics.
It's really something that I every year for Christmas that was each one that came out was on my Christmas list.
Nice.
So I ended up with the set because that was one of my favorites growing up. After the superheroes, that's what I graduated to.
I still haven't read it. Like I've been recommended it so many times, and I still haven't. But it's such a vast.
It's very vast.
It's so big.
I think that's where they lost me a lot of the times. Is that like you could follow sort of a storyline, and then they would have like, oh, but if you want to know more about this, you have to branch off to this sort of thing to follow that story, and then it's just like there were so many issues to sort of get a hold of. I remember trying to get like, what was that called?
Oh, when they would do they do it, all comics do it now, where it's like the multi setups, like the Civil War. I wanted to, before Civil War came out, I wanted to read some of it.
Yeah,
and I found out that you can't really just pick up like the trade paperback.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't
as like a thing.
You have the Captain America one, and then you have the Spider-Man one, and then you have this one and this one. And
but which one follows like the general story?
Exactly.
I don't know. I still don't know.
No.
Someone out there online is going to school us and be like, well, actually...
I have the YouTube clip.
Someone's going to be like, actually, what you need to do is get issue 4, 16, 22. Yeah, so someone's gonna sound just like that and school us.
Oh, man, no, just think of that.
That's brilliant.
That's my robot chicken nerd.
Oh, robot chicken.
Nice.
Said, come on, George Lucas, climb on my back. I'll be your mighty steed.
Oh man, that also reminds me of that the guy from Family Guy.
Yeah.
Norm.
Yeah.
Norm.
Oh my God, it really smells like cookie. And then he's like, oh my God, she farted, you went down my throat. When Brian is sort of getting his dog urges, and he's sniffing this like female dog in the butt, and everyone's like, cause they treat him as human, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, I thought it smelled cookies. And he's like, oh my God, it really smells like cookies. so wrong.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to the podcast. It's been a lot of fun.
But yeah. So we've covered how you got into art. We've covered.
I actually want to know something that we've talked about before, and that we talked about when we were having hamburgers. But sort of like, how does it work to sort of tattoo license stuff? And how do you sort of look on art theft? What is art theft? What is okay and what is sort of not?
Oh yeah. We were speaking of that. I know that you guys have. I think you brought that up on one of your podcasts,
exactly,
right? Yeah,
and it's a recurring question.
I think with tattooing, I think the biggest offender of actual art theft is when somebody creates a custom design for their client. Yeah, custom art. Completely out of their head. And I don't mean concept, when people just straight line for line print out an image and copy it. Sometimes I've even seen it where like not mistakes, but like someone's like mole or like somebody's nipple is like also tattooed into
I've seen that one.
And sometimes something like if it's on a curved surface, the copy is the shape of the image because they just printed it out.
Yeah, just straight off.
That's straight up art theft. There's varying degrees to that, and I don't think that people should get their panties in a ruffle over it's like conceptual stuff, because as artists, somebody will come in and be like, I really like this like female face that has like a wolf head on it, and I love how there's like a triangle border and a thing, and then someone then redraws it with those elements. I have seen people get mad about that, but you can't get mad about that.
It's a concept.
It's a concept, and you certainly probably weren't the first one to ever come up with it.
No, nope.
Because I've said in the past I was like, unless it's like the only thing original, I'll say it to a client, it's like, if you get like a T-Rex with a dunce hat riding a tricycle, and then I'm like, nah, probably somebody already did that. There probably somebody did it.
I saw that tattoo in my head.
I've seen
now.
it. Yeah.
I'm like,
I must have seen it.
Definitely.
So, but I think the biggest offender is just that straight copy. So if someone's thinking about getting a tattoo and is listening to this, the thing you should not do is go to an artist with an already pre-done tattoo and say, I want this. What you should do is find a couple tattoos that you like to illustrate your ideas to the artist, and hopefully you've researched the artist and they do something similar, and then you can kind of come to those agreements. Sometimes there might be like a make or break element, like I was saying, like someone might like that it's in a diamond shaped frame because they love that shape. That's okay. Like, it's not stealing the shape of a frame or something like that. Like, you can kind of come up with your own piece off of that. It's
an idea.
It's an idea. So I think our inspiration is all around, and it's always going to be around. But I think that the straight art theft is what is looked down upon. I do a lot of work that's in sort of a sort of weird nexus, because what I do a lot of is reproduction work. Yeah. Because I'm taking an item that's either a different medium, a photograph. It might be real, or like a still shot. It might be a painting, so it's like done with oil or traditional medium, or even a digital painting. Or it might be a comic book image that was done with pen and ink and colored digitally, whatever it may be, and translating that to the best of my ability onto skin. And that's pretty fair game. And it's
proper fan art.
It's fan art. And also if done with the respect of I try to always give a shout out to the original artist. Definitely. Not only I would like them to see it, and I hope to gain their approval that they think I did a good job.
They enjoy it, yeah.
And I find that most artists in a traditional medium or a separate medium, even I've had the luck of having James Gunn, the director of Guardians, even like an image I did of his character. Like awesome... it's really gratifying that someone can see, hey, I took this thing you did and I translated it to one of the most difficult mediums you could think of. Sweet. And so I think that that's real fair game, and that some people might not agree with me, especially there might be very traditional artists that are like, no, if you don't draw it, it ain't a tattoo. It is what it is. But I try to do it with respect to the original source material. And I'm usually happy to kind of geek out with the person that's getting it, because we're all fanboying out.
Yeah, so exactly.
It's a different kind of thing. And for the most part, I feel like licensed products, they're really concerned in sending out cease and desist when you're like trying to create a product, like
out of their IP,
a T-shirt, or you're trying to sell. They're all over the internet now. People selling like art on framed stuff on Facebook, and they're just ripping stuff off and printing it out.
I have that. Like,
and they're
Zelda
selling
pieces.
and they're selling it for a lot of quantity. It might be like $9.99, but if they're selling 3,000 worldwide on that one image, and they're doing it over and over and over again, they're making a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
So that is theft in art into product. But when we're doing a tattoo, it's a single thing. We're taking an image, we're giving that client that one image that's theirs and on their skin that can never be resold. It's its own thing. And so I think that most licensees are very happy to find that fans enjoy it so much. And you see that on in America, Walking Dead is on AMC channel, and AMC has done like fan art days, and some of it's been tattoos.
Really?
Yeah, they've shown some people's tattoos up there.
That's cool.
Because they're like, wow, you love this show so much that you put it on your skin. They're not being like, hey, wait a minute, that was our image. They're not. They understand the fandom. And
like your Daisy Ridley.
Oh right, one of the coolest ones.
That was cool. I saw that today.
For the audience listening, I did a tattoo of Daisy Ridley as Rey from Star Wars Force Awakens. When the first teaser trailer came out, we didn't know her name, we didn't know what the movie was about, we didn't know who she was, and I found a fan who was confident enough, as I was, that she was probably going to be a cool character, and turned out to be the main character, which was, thank God. But it seemed like she's focused on, I think she's matters. And I told him, even if the movie sucks, like people that dog episode 1, everyone loves Amidala and Natalie Portman, so we're good with the female character. So she ended up seeing it, and on a morning show while they were promoting the film, they were like, hey, so I found out that people were like getting your face tattooed, and they showed the piece, and she was really flattered. She made some jokes about, the fact that we didn't know what her name was. We didn't know what her hairstyle was because it was in a hat, And she was like, but thank you for that. And she thought it was really flattering. So I think that's, people enjoy that and they like to see that. I just saw Mark Hamill just tweeted out on Twitter this morning or yesterday morning, some tattoos that some of my friends have done, David Corden and Chris
No
Jones.
fucking way.
Yeah, and he said something like, what was the line in the new trailer about that the Jedi should be no more?
Yeah.
He said like the
Yeah,
Jedi
yeah.
tattoo should be no more or something. Like, but he enjoys it. He sees it and he's like, that's crazy that people. And I think what he really liked was somebody just got a new image of him as old
Cool.
Luke.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
you know,
He
I think
looks badass though.
he's so cool.
He does.
Yeah.
The beard does.
The beard does
something,
it, yeah. So I think he was like, wow, look at that. You know, I've seen a lot of tattoos, but probably not that. And so anyway, I think people enjoy it. And I think that the artists typically appreciate the work that it takes to replicate it. They know that there's a labor of love. It's a time-consuming labor of love. It's not just printing it out on the printer and going, hey,
you're not trying to make money of someone else's creation. You just want to do like a
proper
celebrate, a
tribute.
homage.
Yeah.
in a new art form, and I think people dig that. There's a April Fool's joke that goes around all the time. That's I see it all the time, and it's like DC Comics suing tattoo artists for doing like Supermans, and it's just a joke because I think they also are happy, and I've seen them tweet out like Harley Quinn tattoos and stuff. So they get the celebration of it, the fandom, and it requires someone like us as artists to put that on them. And I think that they get the relationship there, and the fact that once it's done, it can't be sold again. So
exactly. Like,
it just is what it is. But there's this exception to the rule, and I got to experience it a couple times working as a tattoo artist at the Star Wars Celebration, which again happens every year, every 2 years. They have a tattoo pavilion, and I got to work it like about 3 or 4 years in a row. And when you're doing that, you're tattooing in their house. Like you're going to their home and sitting in their chair, and you're tattooing their characters. So they treat the tattoo artists at their events like they're licensed artists, and you have to be licensed, and in that you have to pay a licensing fee. It's really minimal for what I feel is the honor to be there and to be a part of that. I said the first year that I sent my check and my form, I signed my signature on the form, and I was like so excited that there's a file somewhere in Lucasfilms that has my name on it.
That's
like just
crazy.
Just that it exists.
My God,
it was like so I would pay
badass.
double for that. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Totally
agree.
I mean, please don't make it double. No, but it was like it was the honor. I didn't mind that because it was about the privilege of doing it, and it's the same thing that the traditional illustrators, the guys that sell prints and things, they also have to pay. If it's a T-shirt company selling T-shirts at the event, Hallmark's making ornaments, everybody pays. So but they made it they were super fair, and it was just I think it was more a formality. They just but it was
to do it right.
But to me, it was to do it right, just to say, hey, we're not. It's not unfair to anybody else. Everybody's in this together.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
you're not singled out for.
because then imagine everybody else for like, wait, what am I doing? Like paying a fee to be here. So I think that it was. So that's I think the unique, different sort of scenario, and there may be other scenarios that may pop up in the future that may do that. Not at Comic-Con, which I do work at Comic-Cons, but maybe another event that might be like Marvel might have an event and might want their own personal event, and if they have artists there, they may just accept like a booth fee as part of the licensing fee, because they're getting something from you. But I feel like the on the aspect of art theft, I think it's more about medium to medium is art theft. If you're taking someone's comic book cover and redrawing that comic book cover, you stole it. It's the same medium.
I totally agree.
You haven't paid homage. I mean, there's humor homage, of course, where like position is the same. They'll always sign like Rob after Liefeld or whatever. Just like after someone who did it. But when you're just ripping it off, you're just ripping it off, and you haven't changed it. You haven't changed the format. You haven't done anything, and it's on a commercial thing. If you're putting it on a comic book to sell, or if you're putting it on a T-shirt to sell, if you've stolen that design, you've stolen that, and the same thing with tattoos. So I think that's where the distinction lies. People may not agree with me on the replication thing, but I think this day and age with pop culture tattooing, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen regardless if people like it.
Oh, yeah.
But I like the fact that most artists, I say the majority, I don't really see anybody be grumpy about, hey, why did you tattoo that painting I did? I've, for the most part, just seen people go, wow, I didn't know you could do that on a piece of skin. They're more amazed by it, I was working at a Comic-Con doing a tattoo, and the guy I was working on works for one of the large distributors of comic books in America, and so he probably knows everybody in the industry. And dude comes over and he's like, I just feel like kind of like an old dude, like gray haired kind of dude looking over my shoulder. and I turn, and it was Ken Kelly, the painter who did a lot of the Kiss covers, and
Oh, shit.
you know, there's that famous Boba Fett fighting Vader painting you've probably seen with the lava.
Yeah.
Ken Kelly stuff's amazing. It was Ken Kelly, and I was like, oh shit, like he's looking at me do a tattoo, like he's an amazing painter. So I almost felt the need to be like, well, what I'm doing here, I was explaining him tattooing. I was like telling him what I was doing. He was like, wow, yeah, that's awesome. I don't know how you do that, you know? So I think, and he's even seen some people do replications of his paintings, and
that is cool.
He'd sign them sometimes for people, which is
No
cool.
way.
So I think that there's a love there. There's a mutual respect and love, and I think that's the biggest thing is respect and love. And you can even see that when we talked about not copying a design, copying an idea, redrawing it for a client, and even posting. Client was inspired by so and so.
Yeah,
this is my take on it.
Yeah.
You give him a shout out to say, like, thanks for the inspiration. I hope you appreciate that I didn't copy it for this client and that I took it in a direction that I could. And for the most part, you see a lot of people, I mean, there's still people that get butthurt because they, you know.
But
of course.
you're always going to offend someone. Like, you can't please everyone. Like, it's a world full of people, you know, like.
I feel like I just rambled on that answer for a while, but it was a pretty in-depth.
I think it's a pretty, like, it requires sort of an in-depth answer because it's not like
it's not
just
cut
like,
and dry, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I
mean, we're still going to get questions about this.
Definitely. So. But I think it's like, if someone does a tribute of a famous character and it's a one-off, like you said.
Yeah.
I think there's no sort of, like, you're not trying to hurt the brand. You're trying to sort of pay tribute or homage to that.
You're not in it to make money in that sense. I mean, well, obviously we
for
need
your time. Yeah, you're making money for your time to do it, but again, you're not. A
tattoo artist is still a tattoo artist. You need to get money for doing your tattoo. But I mean, if you're sitting at home doing a fan art thing, you're not drawing that fan art most of the time, I guess, to make a lot of money from it. You do it because you love what you do.
Yeah,
definitely. And it's good. It's great practice. I just said before, that's how I started to draw, was looking at these images and replicating it. I found an old sketchbook and it was me replicating a few Frazetta sketches. There's one where it's just a pencil sketch, but I was even replicating, like, I could do like a little like swash and it kind of looks like a shadow, you know, like nice. I was learning little tricks because I was just replicating what he was doing, and that kind of stuff just evolved. So, I mean, you should never discourage people to do that because there's going to learn some valuable lessons, but you're also not going to put it out on the internet and be like, I created this from my mind.
No, I think a lot of the early stuff that I posted online was very J. Scott Campbell sort of / Jim Lee inspired, because early J. Scott Campbell was very sort of knockoff Jim Lee because
they're all from the same school. You know?
Exactly. And I think when J. Scott Campbell joined, Jim Lee showed him the ropes. So it's pretty.
He was inking in the beginning, right?
And
J. Scott Campbell.
I don't remember anymore. But
I think he was.
But my work was very J. Scott Campbell, and I always sort of like, super inspired by J. Scott Campbell. So if you see that, that's why.
Yeah. If you're noticing it, it's kind of intentional.
Kind of,
you know, but I think that's like a great thing too. And I think sometimes when I've noticed, and I don't know if you got any feedback from him or by tagging him or anything, but sometimes they'll, when you get a thumbs up from the artist, like when you're like, that's always a good feeling too. Like, and I think that they enjoy that too. And I feel like I've had, in the last couple of years, maybe just being a little more public as an artist and being out there and having done like the show in America, I'll have a few people that are like getting into tattoos and being like say something like, I'm inspired by what you do, and I'm like, I'm just trying to make I'm just trying to make a living over here. I'm just doing my thing. But I appreciate it. It's actually I still get a little off put by it because it's like it's not something that I would expect to be the one to tell somebody else how much they're inspiring me, not the other way around.
Same here.
So it's like, but I think that's what kind of goes around. And if somebody did a piece that kind of felt like my piece but wasn't like a straight copy, I would been like, well, I'm glad you're taking some notes out of what I was doing, or you're maybe learning something about how I like to use light sources, whatever it may be. But I've yet to see somebody like do my exact composition copied.
Yeah, exactly.
It probably exists somewhere, but
of course, you haven't been notified.
I haven't been notified of said. It's probably out there because it might be the same image, which I can't claim. Oh, that's my photograph of Boba Fett I use for my tattoo.
Exactly, yeah.
But I always try to do my own thing with it, kind of mix it up. So if I saw somebody that like literally laid the exact pieces together and had the same ship in the right spot, then I would know that they ripped it off.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet, so.
And J. Scott Campbell actually liked my
tattoo,
my Spider-Man.
Awesome.
But it looks exactly like the comic, and I think they all do, so that's pretty cool.
I think it's like, I think for any of them to see it translated, and again to know that you love the art, and that was like you're a fan of not just the character but his art.
His art,
I mean, I can't. Also, one of the biggest inspirations in my life.
Yeah.
So I think that there's, again, that was a pretty lengthy roundabout answer to that, but I think anybody listening, I think they'll either take some of that to heart. They might disagree with some of that, but that's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
But still, don't copy other people's tattoos, kids.
Yes. And don't put them up on Society 6. If you do fan art, even if it's your own take on it, don't sell like 1 billion copies of Iron Man posing like me. So, yeah.
Actually, now I want someone to draw you dressed up as Iron Man posing and put it on up for sale on mugs and stuff.
On mugs and stuff, yeah.
Yes.
And then you'll see Robert's Society 6 like full of pictures of me. What? I'm not allowed?
Before we end this, we always have to ask our guests. We've had not many.
I was just...
I was waiting for it to be a tradition that just started, but you're like, we always.
Almost.
All the 2 times.
All the 2 times.
But we have the little segment called Retro in our show. It just feels weird saying. But anyways. Podcast. So the question is, like, if you spontaneously just think back, if you can find like one thing that really inspired you, like one comic book or one movie or one, I don't know, soundtrack, music album, whatever, that really inspired you to keep on drawing and creating stuff.
Something that was really
and you can go as far back as you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Some form of inspiration.
I think the first spark though was that Frazetta painting, which if anybody is listening, definitely look that up. I'm not going to use that as my answer. I'll give you another answer. But that was just like the first thing that I was like, this is art. It's not my favorite painting from his or anything, but it was just something that I was like
as soon as you mentioned the polar bears, it's just in there.
Same. You totally see it. I think one of the things that I saw early on that became a huge inspiration, and I was telling you over burgers that he's one of my biggest inspirations, even though he doesn't at all draw like how I draw. I don't tattoo like he draws. I don't even do compositions the same way that he does, but it inspired me in the way that, not all art is, has to be a certain way, especially in the 90s of comics. Yeah. It doesn't have to be Jim Lee, doesn't have to be J. Scott Campbell. There's other ways to tell the same story. And it was Mike Allred's Madman. And it's a very obscure title that was popular in the 90s, featured on Chasing Amy and things like that. And Mike Allred's art has like a Jack Kirby, very 60s feel to it. Yeah. And even so much that he's recently done like the Batman 66 series and stuff for DC.
Oh yeah, he did that.
Yeah, so it's like, but something about his stuff, like it's still a huge inspiration to me. And I think it was because I was reading comics and of course reading all the superhero stuff. And then I saw this stuff that was a little quirky. Even the storytelling was like outside of the box. And it was like, comics can be other things, and they could be, and I think there's probably something of that non-conformist that speaks to me, and always has throughout my life. So I think that when I saw that, it was such an inspiration to me that, I could do my thing. Like I don't have to do what everyone else does. I could do my own thing.
And that's huge.
And it is a huge thing, because I think a lot of people might think that, we do talk up people like J. Scott Campbell and Jim Lee because they're amazing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that. You don't have to draw like that. You don't have to do that. You can do your own thing and be successful, because at the time Madman was very quirky and Mike Allred did some indie stuff, but now he's a huge artist. I mean, he does so much for Marvel and DC, covers, and he's an enormous force now, and he did that just forging his own path, doing his own thing how he wanted to do it. And that's pretty inspiring. So I think that was like a big inspiration for me, growing up. So
awesome.
Very highly recommended people pick up some Madman or anything by Mike Allred. But Madman's really fun. It's not too serious, but the art is stunning in a very retro sort of way. Speaking of retro,
nice
I definitely and then again, like anything from anybody that's kind of outside the box just proves that you can forge your own path. Beat of your own drum. Any other metaphors?
That's beautiful. You're beating your own what?
Beating your own who?
What? We're back to that. We're back
full
on
circle.
That topic. Yeah.
This is a full circle podcast.
Yes, that's what we do.
Oh man.
No, but that was beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck. I think
think we did it, guys.
Yeah,
I think
we did.
we got through.
But something I want to do with artists is just like if you could give one sort of art advice to people out there, just like one that you think is sort of vital, just like top of your head, one advice you would sort of given yourself way back.
Though something that actually stuck in my mind before I started tattooing, I loved tattoos. I wanted to be a tattoo artist. I wanted to be in it. It was not as easy before the years of YouTube and eBay and message boards to know even how to do it. It was literally like you had an apprenticeship or you didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, it was like secretive to even get the equipment. You know, you had to like be in the know. Even if you wanted to do it at home, it was not easy. So, and I had a lot of respect for it. And I was getting tattooed by this artist who was local to me, kind of this new school piece. Very popular in the 90s, you know, the new schools.
Tribals.
Yeah, it wasn't the tribal. It was something new school. So I was getting tattooed, and I was picking his brain a little bit because I wanted to know about the industry, and I was interested in it. And I was trying to be respectful in that I didn't want him to think like I was being like, I can do this, or I'm gonna do this and take your business. I was trying to be respectful, so I said something along the lines of, you know, I'd really like to like learn one day, you know, maybe just for part time, you know, just like do it on the side. Like I was just trying to be, I was kind of being, I didn't want to be like
humble about it.
I was trying to be humble about it, but saying along the lines of like, you know, just do it on the side. And then, you know, and he kind of stopped and he was like, stop tattooing me, and he was like, he wasn't a dick about it. He was just like, you know, if you're not going to do it all the time and you're not going to put 100% into it, don't even bother. You won't get any good. And I think it was that really made me be like, oh shit, like, all right, no, like maybe I shouldn't just like jump into this thing. And I didn't tattoo for years after that. It was a few years till the time was right that I knew that I could actually put everything into it. Nice. That it wasn't just something I would do on the weekend or, you know, an hour a day, you know, for 2 days a week. Like it was in my head that like, I'm not going to be any good at this unless I can devote time to it.
All your time, yeah.
And it's, I guess it's also something to be like, you know, not be frustrated when you're starting something that you're not very good at right away, that it takes time. I mean, my first few years of tattoos were just not miserable looking, but they just were not anything to write home about. They were exactly sort of run-of-the-mill stuff because I was still cutting my teeth. I consider like my first couple years of tattooing, even not apprenticing but actually professionally tattooing, definitely, as still the learning process. And I still, another piece of advice is never stop learning. The minute that you think that you know everything, you probably are going to start falling behind. And I feel like I'm always tired. Yeah, you just retire. If you think you know everything, then cool, pack up whatever it is you're doing and go home.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, so I'm forever the student, you know, never the master.
That's the first lesson I was taught by Marcus, actually.
Yeah.
That's the first thing he told me when I started.
Two things that you should always know. And it shouldn't sound discouraging. It actually should be encouraging. It should be like, just work harder and keep at it and put everything into the things that you love. And good things will come from that, because it's, you know, just like I know people get mad at the, you know, each someone's a good artist and they're like, oh, you're so blessed. Like it didn't come from a higher power. It came from hard work that I put in, and it's true.
But no one sees the hard work. That's the thing.
They don't see the see the hard work. Some people might have a natural inclination for creativity or a creative mind. Mm-hmm. That's different, but the technical skill of doing anything takes a lot of work.
Repetition.
Yeah, so stick at it, kids.
Awesome advice, and I think we touched upon it last time as well, so this ties in very nice to that. Yeah. Just, if you're going to do it, just fucking walk out that door and do that. Yeah. Whatever it is that you want to do.
And don't stop.
And don't stop. Yeah, like, it's not always going to be easy, and you're not always going to be satisfied, but in the long run, you will sort of enjoy what you do, like we've done. Like, it's like the noodle ketchup dilemma that we talked, or the shit sandwich. Shit.
If you look at that, whatever that phrase, because I don't know what you're talking about, you should have like a little asterisk, like, for more on the ketchup and noodle incident, please check into
previous episode.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just walk out that door and just pursue whatever the hell it is you want to do.
Now you heard it from Josh Bodwell.
And now exactly, it's been confirmed by someone that actually does a good job.
Get out there, kid. But yeah, it's and I think that's like that's something that I think some people don't always get, that kind of advice from people. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, if you surround yourself with a lot of people that are just patting you on the back, you're never going to learn to go do that. You know, or even like the encouraging. You know, I hear like the mom that's getting tattooed, they're like, oh, my son's a great artist, he would be a great tattoo artist. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about, and your kid sure as hell doesn't know what he's talking about. And he's not even in here asking about tattooing. So what the hell are you talking about? Like, and it's sometimes people like that aren't gonna put the drive in because they're just told it's easy or told that they can do whatever.
I know.
Do whatever they want.
I am the most blessed person in this world regarding to the world. Like they're like, you're so blessed. Like what you do, just natural. Like
you just wake up and it just happened. And it's like,
Oh,
where were you when I was eating ramen noodles out of a package because I had no business because I was still learning and I was putting it all, So no one ever sees the bad side and they only see the glamorous side. And, and tattooing can have like a glamorous look when professionals, I mean, a lot of us work hard and play hard. So of course, people are like, oh yeah,
rock stars.
It's just rock stars all the time. And it's like, but you don't see the work that is involved to get into that. It's not handed to you. It's all hard work. So do the hard work, kids.
All right. And now we have to go out on an awesome, super funny ending like we always do, right? No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'm just standing there looking into nothingness. What is happening?
We're all wide-eyed. We're like deer in the headlight right now.
Exactly.
Be funny.
Okay, I'll just cut in like Lori. Just...
Actually, don't cut in anything. Just that. That was fine.
That was it.
That was just end on like special effects. like every bad radio show, like talk show noise.
Yeah, I thought about that because someone said like, "Oh, you should use like special effects." I'm like, "Or not." Yeah, because it doesn't get cheesy. Like if you do it like sort of do sound effects with like your mouth while you're doing it, it's sort of like fun, not less cheesy. But when you start cutting in like lightsaber sounds and stuff, like I got this app.
It's like using a lens flare in Photoshop.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Or like taking a black and white photo and making like the apple red. Like I know Photoshop, and then you have like a lens flare in your eye, and you're like, apple.
I know. I just think you should just include one sound effect like randomly, and it's gotta be like the like the trap music horn. They're like like a hype man style, but when it's not hype at all, that's like real serious.
I'm gonna use the lens flare sound because that's a thing in anime.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like super awesome muscly robot turning in like the sky, and then you just have this lens flare and that's like. Yeah, that sound. And you're like, lens flares have sound effects? What?
Yes, they do.
They do now.
It flared so hard.
Yeah, it flared so hard.
This is episode 16. It flared so hard.
There you go.
Or whatever number.
Josh Flare Hard.
Well, it's been fun, guys.
Yeah, man. It's been awesome.
Came all the way. Actually, I came all the way to Sweden just to do this, but I'm going home.
And
That's
before
it.
we actually end this, where can they find you? What are your like upcoming events so they can find you live and bug you?
If you're all worldwide, prestige worldwide, I'm going to Liverpool UK convention this upcoming weekend, which is the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and then I'm going to be back in the States for a bit in my home base, and then I'm doing a show in Halifax in Canada. Then I've got, I believe I have a show in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, Nashville.
At some point. And then I'm actually just going to be home in the Northeast for most of the summer. If anybody happens to be traveling, if they're travelers themselves or find themselves in New York City, my home base is only like 90 minutes west of the city. It's a really easy drive. So I've actually had people kind of fly in for pieces from all over the States. It's actually an easy place to go. So, and if you're vacationing in the States and you happen to be in up near Manhattan, I'm pretty close. So they can find me on the social media. Like I said, it's at Josh Bodwell or Josh Bodwell Tattoos all over social media. The website, joshbodwell.com.
Yeah. And I'll also add... Idiots. I'll also add them to sketchbookheroes.com. If you go to links, every guest that we have, I will also put some linkage there.
Linkage.
Boom.
Amazing.
Linkage, y'all.
Yeah. So
it's been real.
It's
been fun. Next time it'll be real fun.
You know it.
Fucking never ends.
We've had a lot of good, like, dad jokes today. This episode brought to you by Dad Jokes.
I love it. No, thanks a lot, man.
My
really
pleasure.
Appreciate you coming in. I know how tired you are, because so am I.
Let's go to the Spoonmobile.
To the Spoonmobile.
Nothing a few beers won't fix, though, so we'll be all right.
Spoon Man.
Spoon Man.
Ding, ding, ding. I was going to do a backup track for you guys. I'll grab that acoustic guitar off the wall.
Fuck yes.
Okay, let's do that.
I actually don't know how to play that song, so
It's cool. Just play any song. We're ending with a song. Last time we had a guest, we ended with like super, super off-key Eye of the Tiger.
Okay.
So let's just let's do Eric Clapton.
We'll just make a new song about Sketchbook Heroes.
Oh my god.
Really? Sketchbook Heroes. Stepping on your toes.
Insulting all their foes.
Nobody knows who we are.
And then all of a sudden it turns into like a mariachi band.
Me and amigo.
Arriba! Let's Sketchbook Heroes.